Today, as you can see, I'm at a corporate building because I'm shopping for a new office space. All right. Showed up to my office building last week and they sold it. They sold my office building, right? So I showed up to the building, went inside and met the new owner, and he proceeds to tell me that he's taking over the entire first floor of the building, and everyone with an office downstairs on the first floor is going to either need to do one of two things. Either you're going to need to migrate upstairs or you're getting kicked out. All right, so I figured I'd take this opportunity to talk to you guys about corporate leases and commercial space.
Okay, boy, I'm beating my best, I know. Feeling the part, living my life, dancing, let's make some noise.
I'm going to talk about the three types of leases that are most common. There are an infinite amount of leases that you can come up with. You can get creative. People sometimes, come up with their own ideas as to how they want the lease to be. It could be a graduated lease that is contingent on how much profit your business make. Yeah, like I said, there's infinite amount of possibilities that you can come up with when you're drafting a lease. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to keep it simple. I'm going to talk to you about the three most common leases. The first one is called a gross lease. The second one is a modified gross lease, and the third one is a net lease. And there are variations of that, and I'm going to go into the differences between those variations. So the first one is a gross lease, also known as a full service lease. And the simplified explanation of this one is that your rent, whatever the amount that you and the landlord agreed on, covers all the expenses included in the office space or in the commercial space. So that means, let's say you agree to a $5,000 per month lease on, let's say, a restaurant space. It would include the property taxes, it would include utilities, maintenance of the property, any other expenses, insurance, etc. The only other thing you would probably need to pay is maybe for your internet or any other build out that you want to do to the property. But otherwise, a gross lease or a full service lease, as it's also known, is a lease that covers the maintenance of the property and any other expenses. So with the example I gave of $5,000, you should not have any other expenses in a full service lease or a gross lease. Number two is a modified gross lease. That is a variation of the gross lease that we just covered, except it's modified, right? So you can modify a whole range of things, including, but not limited to, the base rent. Or the landlord could say, listen, I need you to also take care of the electricity, whatever water usage your property takes up. For example, in the case of a restaurant or maybe a salon or something like that, depending on the type of business, it can be modified and be documented in the lease to reflect whatever agreement you and the landlord came to. So that's kind of like a happy middle ground usually between landlords and tenants, where the landlord says, listen, I'll give you a better rate on the base lease amount if you help out with the, for example, water or electricity, etc. And finally, there's what's called a net lease. And there's single net leases, there's double net leases, and then there's triple net leases. You've probably seen these with the three N's next to them if it's a triple net lease property, right? And a net lease basically means you're going to pay something. A net lease denotes that you are going to pay part or some of the expenses. That could be property taxes, it could be insurance, it could be common area maintenance or CAM, something, right? A single net lease means that you're probably going to take care of one thing, right? So you will have your base lease, and then maybe a portion of the property taxes is what you would pay. A double net lease is the same as the single net, except there's a couple of things that you might be paying, right? So in addition to your base lease, you might be paying property taxes and CAM, right? And then a triple net lease pretty much means you're paying everything. right? You're paying the property taxes, you're paying your base lease, plus the insurance, plus your property taxes of the property, plus the common area maintenance. That usually means that you've negotiated a lower base lease, right? Because you're gonna have to take into account that you're paying all these other expenses, plus your electricity, plus your water, plus your gas. If you're a small business owner or you're someone just starting out and you want to try to keep expenses low, you want to keep your overhead low, you want to try to go with a gross lease. Just negotiate the best terms you can and have everything included. That way you're not having to worry about paying additional expenses in addition to running your business.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. As you can tell, I'm here at the pool by the Hard Rock in Hollywood. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day.